Hello, everybody. It's Thursday morning, May the 21st, and um, I'm just glad to be doing as well as I am this morning, and hope that you're doing well too. Went to church last night on Wednesday night. We had a good service. So thankful to be back in church. This today, I want to read to you from Genesis, the 11th chapter, 1 through 9, I believe. I've never heard this read very much in church in all these years, and I've only maybe read it a couple of times, maybe referred to it a few more. But anyway, this says, and the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. Wow, boy, wouldn't that be something? Uh, I don't care so much if the whole world is in one language and one speech, uh, but I would like for the church to be in one language and one speech. And it came to pass as they journeyed from the east that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. And they said one to another, Go to, let us make brick and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone, and slime had they for mortar. And they said, Go to, let us build a city and a tower, which top may reach unto heaven, and let us make a name, lest we be scattered upon the face of the whole earth. And the Lord came down to see the city and the tower which the children of men builded. And the Lord said, Behold, the people is one, and they have all one language. And this they begin to do, and now nothing shall be restrained from them which they have imagined to do. There's good things you can do, but men do have vain imaginations, and that was one, which they have imagined to do. Go to, let us go down, and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech. That's where we're at today. So the Lord scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of the earth, and they left off to build the city. Therefore the name of it is called Babel, because the Lord did there confound the language of all the earth, and from thence did the Lord scatter them abroad from the face of the earth. I don't even know how it would be. I'd like to see if we all spoke one language, if what we could get done in the ways of God, if we just spoke the same thing. But we have communication gaps. We have communication gaps in marriages. We have communication gaps in families. We have communication gaps in churches sometimes. Um, a man and a woman get married, and over in Ephesians it said, for a man to love his wife as Christ loved the church, and it told a woman to reverence her husband. And so the man, he speaks the respect language, and the woman, she speaks the love language. And one of them may say, well, I'll love him, I love her when she respects me. And she could be saying, I'll respect him when he loves me. But somebody's got to make the first move. Somebody is going to have to respect somebody without that love they're looking for, or as much of it, and vice versa. Um, I know I've seen couples. I've already mentioned one, and I'll mention the same one today. The lady can speak Spanish and English, but the man only speaks English. He may speak a little Spanish, I don't know, but if he spoke to her in English and she answered back in Spanish, it just wouldn't work right. It'd be a communication gap, and that's what I think is happening. Satan has got us speaking different things, different languages, and scattered us. Well, we can come back together when I think we can come back on the same page. It's not easy, but we can do it if we just lay down our egos, our wanting to be right all the time. A smile is the same in any language. It doesn't take a lot to do that. And people say, well, I'm gonna smile at them if they smile at me. You need to play offense. That's playing defense. I tell our church all the time to play offense. You've got to say, playing offense, you got to be proactive instead of reactive. You get up in the morning and you say, well, if the weather's good this morning, I'm going to have a good day. No, going to have a good day doesn't matter what the weather's like. So that's playing offense. The other's playing defense. And I've seen people receive salvation, and it doesn't matter what nationality they was, what language they spoke in their native tongue. That language that was going back to God was the same. It's the same in any language. And if you don't believe like I do, allow me to have some of the beliefs I do, as long as it's not sin, then I'll do the same with you. But Satan he's confounded our language. And if we start speaking different things, or if we continue to speak different things, the enemy will scatter us like he did in this. Said, let us make a name, lest we be scattered. And they said, go to, let us build a city and a tower, this verse 4, whose top may reach unto heaven, and let us make a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. So that was the problem. They was trying to make a name. Anytime you start trying to make a name or get caught up in flesh games, that's what's going to happen. And the enemy, he just loved to scatter us. If me and you've got 10 things that we're, and there's 9 of them that we agree upon real good, and there's one that maybe we don't, if it's not sin, why can't we be together? Me and my wife don't agree upon everything about everything, but we agree upon enough of it that we have a good marriage. I remember when I was growing up, I didn't know nothing about holiness, but the Beatles wrote a song and they said, come together. I think that's where we're at. We need to come together. And the Beatles said, right now. And I think that's exactly, we need to come now more than ever. In these last days, more than ever, we need to come together. One language, speaking the same thing. So in verse 4, I was telling you, it said, let us make a name. That's the problem, being on the Me channel, flesh games. Who's going to sit on the right hand? Who's going to sit on the left? You take the credit. And like I said in another, you don't even have to mention my name if you want to use something I've got. It doesn't belong to me anyway. It belongs to God. And if we could lay down all of that, the credit, the flesh games. When we get in a service and we lay down the flesh games, we nail that flesh to the cross. And I've said this in a previous video, the power, God's presence can flow from the front to the back. I heard a man say that he thought that maybe, and he was joking to an extent, but that the carpenters were going to go to heaven first because they're going to have to build those stalls and those things that would each have their own little place. Friend, I'm going to tell you, we're going to be together up there. If we're not here, I believe up there's not going to be a Meridianville Holiness Church. I don't believe there's going to be a Riverton Holiness Church or whatever. It's just going to be one big happy family. You're going to be glad to be there. And of course, I think we've all heard the thing that says there's going to be 3 surprises in heaven. One, you're going to see somebody there you didn't think was going to make it there. And then you may miss somebody you thought for sure was going to make it. And then if you get there, that's going to be the biggest surprise. I don't think really it's a surprise. It would be a surprise for me to get there. I just think it'd be just joy unspeakable and full of glory, where I wouldn't have sufficient words to say how it would be. I thought this would be a very short video this morning, but it's turned out it's a little longer than I thought. But if this helps you, if it don't help you, just eat the meat and spit the bones out. Get what you want and pass the plate on. So my intention is to help you, and God knows my intention. So may the Lord bless you until we see each other again.